Hello, and welcome to another Spoilercast done by the Cutie Art Crusaders from My Little Pony Season 5, Episode 8, The Lost Treasure of Griffinstone. My name is Flutterguy317, and today I am joined by Rainbow Plasma.
Hello.
Burndo1.
Hey.
And Atmospark.
Sup?
Gang's all here, and we're reviewing the episode where we finally get to see some more griffins.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
I like the fact that it's like your brain wanted you to rhyme that last sentence, but everything you came up to rhyme with it wouldn't have been appropriate. Gang's all here, and griffins. All right. Yeah, no, it was an interesting episode. Gilda came back. We got to see Griffin, what was it called? Griffinshire?
Griffinstone.
Griffinstone.
Yeah.
Whatever. Close enough.
Wow.
I was obviously have hobbits on the brain.
Gryffindor.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a pretty cool episode. Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie had to go do their butt journey, as I like to call it, where their cutie marks get all flashy and they need to go help someone with friendship.
Nothing like a good old friendship butt journeys.
Yeah, exactly. And so they go to Griffinstone and they help out the griffins there. They first think that they need to get this artifact thingy that I don't remember. Look, I watched the episode like literally 8 hours ago, so I don't remember all the names. But they have to go find the magical griffin artifact, and they find it, and then they lose it, and then they realize that friendship is more important, which is like every lesson ever on the show.
Yeah, it's the idol of Boreas.
Yeah.
The idol of Boreas.
Thank you.
In Griffinshire.
I loved the nod to Indiana Jones there, with the whole.
Oh, with the heart being ripped out of the still beating chest thing.
Yes. No, that Indiana Jones never existed.
Well, I was like, when did that happen in the episode?
No, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where they have the chalice, like the Holy Grail, and they have to choose between saving yourself or getting the
Holy Grail.
That's a pretty common trope, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't it come from Indiana Jones?
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the first time we saw it.
If anything, it's most famous from Indiana Jones.
Popularized from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least in our popular culture.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was very, very interesting to see the backstory of the Griffins. Because we, obviously, other than Gilda and then those Griffins at the games, like, last season, we haven't really seen Griffins. Oh, there was that one Baker Griffin in season 2.
Yeah.
Well, like, there's the Baker Griffin, and then, I don't know if you mentioned the Wonderbolts one, where, like, they're doing the Wonderbolts thing. There's the trio there. Like, that was the coolest one, was that trio.
Yeah. So, we really haven't seen a lot from the Griffins. So, they took a stab at the Griffin lore. It was kind of an interesting kind of backstory. I know one of our friends mentioned that this has basically broken every single fan thing ever.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Because the Griffins, like the origin of the Griffins and the origin of Gilda and things like that have all been very, very ambiguous.
Except for Silver predicted that exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I'm sure a lot of other people have come up with their own stories that are now alternate universe stories as opposed to attempted canon stories. But it was cool. It was cool to see some canon acceptance of the Griffins, because I think Griffins are cool creatures, and it's kind of interesting to think about it when you think about it from the perspective of, like, we haven't seen many of them, and this one kind of explains why, because, like, that town wasn't very big.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're a very populous race.
At least the ones from that town. Like, I'm sure there's other places that have.
Yeah, but like
Griffins,
I mean, the way that they set it up was like, this is the big Griffin place,
Yeah.
like this is where they had their big, idol of Borealis, and I mean, yeah, obviously there must be other ones around, but I think that was supposed to be like the big town, and it didn't look very big.
Well, we only saw a part of it. Like, when we saw it on top of the mountain, it looked pretty big, or however you want to paint a fantasy town. And when they were in it, there was still, like, lots of houses when they're walking through it. But most of the time in the story, like, I don't think from what we saw we could judge how, like, huge it is.
It's a pretty big dump, though.
Yes, that is a
Yeah.
fact. Because like whenever they were taking an establishing shot in the town, there was always lots of houses in the background and like in the distance and stuff. So.
Well, it's also layered. That's the thing about it. It's like a big bird nest.
You're like
Yeah.
a big bird
Like
nest.
up to it.
Whoa.
Like up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That clicked.
Yeah. So it's like it's a skyscraper made out of
Yeah.
griffins.
Birds.
Whoa.
That's weird.
Piles and piles of griffins.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on a cute moment, which is when Pinky and Dash are on the train, and Dash completely mimics Twilight and even takes on her hairstyle and stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the touch of adding the hairstyle in as well. It was really unexpected.
Yeah. Also, I'm expecting to see lots and lots of fan art of Dash with Twilight's hair now.
Oh, the main
People
swap
love
thing. Yeah,
People
right.
love the hair thing.
Yeah.
What about Baby Gilda?
Oh yeah, that was
yeah.
good too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was really cute.
It's funny because they really painted her in a different light based on her flashback. She was very, very shy, and I thought it was a really good moment for Rainbow Dash because, as we often forget, when she was a kid and when she was hanging out in flight school, she seemed to really be against the idea of bullying and seemed to hang out with a lot of the kids who were bullied, and so you have Fluttershy, who she obviously helped, and then it seems like Gilda at the beginning was like kind of getting teased, like, wham, welcome to flight school, you suck. and so Dash kind of saw that and was like, nah, let's not have that happen. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Gilda turned into such a meanie, although we might have seen a little bit about how her environment might have helped that along. But it was cool to see Dash's kind of children character, and one of her positive traits being the ability to stick up for someone who might not be able to stick up for themselves.
Yeah. That entire sequence was really, really adorable. And it shows kind of how close Dash and Gilda were, and kind of, I don't know, it ties into the episode in, was it season 1?
Yep.
Where she showed up? Like, because,
The 4th episode.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
up until that point, like, Dash had only known her from the Junior Speedsters Academy thingy.
Yeah.
So, obviously something happened in between. And I'm guessing it's because of, this dump.
Mhm. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to point out was the costumes that Pinky and Rainbow Dash wore on their travels to Griffinstone. They were like really fuzzy hats and stuff.
They
It was
were-
Like
really
mountain
cute.
climbing gear.
They were
Yeah.
Himalayan hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to see a lot of like new stuff this episode. Like,
Well, I mean,
clothes
you
and-
also had like the adventurer's rappelling gear as well, as Rainbow
Mhm.
Dash rappelled down this side of a mountain. Very successfully, I might add.
Yeah. If by successfully you mean the rope broke and she fell, yeah.
Seems like a pretty good success if you're hoping for failure.
I mean, she didn't get to the bottom, but
Yeah.
she got to a ledge.
I do really like how they keep doing like kind of cute visual things or costumes for the characters, like the Himalayan like mountain climbing hats. Like, what is that? Like when you like venture into like mountains or something. There's like a name for that. I don't know. I don't remember. When you like take a guide and stuff.
Yeah.
Venturing into the mountains.
Yeah, sure.
With the guide. Yeah, I was impressed at the way that they handled the exposition, because they obviously needed Twilight to explain a bit more than she did, but instead of having them sit in the room and having her do the exposition right there,
Yeah, they had that
they
narrated
had
pamphlet.
the scenes of them going up, and it kind of gave weight to how far away it was. It wasn't just like, hey, magically we're here, woo!
Yeah.
There's
And
obviously some effort put in to
Yeah.
get there.
the pamphlet was pretty good too. Like the
Yeah.
cruddy doodled griffin on the outside of it.
Yeah. There was also a really fantastic sequence, kind of not really seen too often at all in MLP, where they were explaining how the idol got stolen.
Oh yeah.
And it was in a very, very interesting art style, and in kind of like a pseudo-animated, almost
Mhm.
comic book style, but it wasn't in the style of the show at all. It was in an alternative art style, and that was really cool. I'd like to know who kind of designed that sequence.
Big Jim Miller actually tweeted that today. I can go check, but he tweeted who helped with that. Let me go look. The biggest Jim.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like stained glass almost. Like just
Kind of reminded me of
almost.
Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe that was just because up until recently, when Cinema Equestria got C&D'd, Samurai Jack would always come on after their episode premieres. Maybe that's why it's on the mind.
Yeah.
Have the answer burned?
While I'm reading through all of his tweets, he tweets a lot. Designing.
What about that
Okay,
the whole
right
thing
here.
with Gummy and the cooking?
I
Oh
got
my
it.
god, yes.
Let's do it after the
That was cute.
burned thing.
Okay, so it looks like Rebecca Dart, who is an artist and art director for My Little Pony season 5 and 6, designed the amazing flashback sequences in today's episodes.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So does that mean that she participated in drawing them as well, or?
That's just what Big Jim says. She is the artist and art director. So I mean,
Interesting.
Mm.
but
I'm sure
specifically
she
for
probably had
season
a
5
hand in it.
and 6. So this season and
Right.
the next. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure they swap staff out on a regular basis with those kind of things. Shuffle staff around.
It's interesting. I'm guessing that now that like, you know, the characters are designed and whatnot, like having a dedicated art director kind of means that we get to see new things that like they kind of come up with, which is pretty cool.
You were mentioning the gummy thing, but I wanted to mention that because you reminded me. I consistently enjoy Pinkie Pie way better when she's the main character in an episode.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a lot stronger of a character. I feel like there's some characters that do perfectly fine as non-main characters. I think Spike does a great job of that. But Pinkie Pie, I find personally, there's a big jarring difference between when she's a main character and when she's not. She's often used as like comic relief fodder when she's not the main character.
Yeah.
But I think it was really good in this episode. And there was one sequence in particular that I loved, which was the faces that she made eating Gilda's scones.
Yeah.
Those were great faces, and it just kept going.
That toothless grin really reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog, because he always did that. Like every other episode, something would happen, or he'd get punched in the face, and he'd be like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were really great faces. I love them.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, going back to the whole intro with Gummy, that was really adorable. I kind of feel bad for outro, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for Pinkie that she didn't get to like bake for 15 hours like she wanted to, but
15 hours.
No.
yeah.
That
I'm not even awake for 15 hours.
the little shots of the Sugar Cube Corner 2 were different. We haven't seen that before with all like little candy bars in the background. That was definitely new.
Also, I'm just scrubbing through right now, and it's interesting. Her cutie mark flashes way before she realizes it.
Yeah,
Like,
it does. Like the first frame of the episode.
Yeah, the first time you see her cutie mark is flashing, and then
Oh,
it
that's
kinda goes
interesting. I
silent.
didn't notice that.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
it's foreshadowing for like 5 minutes from then.
Is that foreshadowing, or is that just something that we didn't notice?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, look at that.
Well, I was watching
Oh,
the
yeah,
episode where she picked it up straight away.
Sparkled a little. Huh. Didn't notice that. Didn't catch that.
That's cool. That is really cool. If you can pull it off well, and obviously they did in this case because I don't even know until right now. Then that's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, poor Gummy gets stuck with baking the cake, and then I'm guessing no work got done.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
But yeah, on those flashback sequences, I just realized that there was the one in the beginning with the book, and then there was also the one which is my favorite with the big monster, right? Which was the idol. So there was a few multiples of them, but that one where the monster takes the idol, it was almost like comic booky in how it was, and I really liked that. And also when the monster fell in the giant pit, for some reason, my head instantly went to, all right, that thing's definitely dead, and this was a long time ago. Like, please let there be a giant skull, because it had such a cool head design when it was, like, looking at the statue and stuff. And, like, God, it's shadow, too. I might make that the background for this spoiler cast, but his shadow looking through the window was so good. And then, sure enough, when they fall in that giant pit, there's just, like, a giant skull, and I was like, yes! Yes! It was so good. It looked so cool.
You know, I think something that MLP really excels at is not it doesn't, you know, talk down to kids, and I think that's really a great mark. It's a mark of a great kids TV show, you know, and there's little things like that I can imagine, you know, a couple of people sitting around in a boardroom going over the script and going, I don't know about this, you know, skull that implies death, blah 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 blah, and like I feel like on a lesser TV show they would have been like, you're right, that implies death, and we can't talk to our kids about death, you know. So which is dumb because kids can totally handle that stuff. So
but they can't handle being on Mars.
A light little thing like that. Is great, and it really, like I said, it doesn't talk down to kids, and it's just like, yeah, he died, that's his skull.
Yeah, it's good. There's even little daisies next to it. It's pushing up daisies.
Yeah, it's cool.
I just realized
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I just realized that Gilda is the entire cause for them losing the idol. Like,
oh yeah,
if she had pulled them up first, they could have gotten it because it wouldn't have fallen down.
Well, I mean, that's the whole debate, isn't it? I feel like you know, I don't really know how they would do this normally, but, you know, she did seem to have a change of heart quite quickly. But maybe that lends itself to the fact that she's always kind of, you know, wanted a friend after losing hers, and so she kind of had a quick change of heart there. But it did seem, I don't want to say rushed, but it did seem kind of like, you know, one of those episodes where it's like, oh man, we really need to solve this conflict. Here's a meaningful sentence. Yeah, we solved the conflict. Woo! You know?
Oh, where Gilda had her little flashback and got teared up kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was good because it was a little bit of a delay, but then, like, right after that, it was just like, I don't really know about this friendship thing, and Pinkie Pie's like, it's really great, and she's like, all right, cool. So,
yeah, and even before that, she was like, don't you ponies bring that friendship in here, like... Yeah.
And then they're like, what if we ask really nicely? And she's like, well, I wasn't expecting that. You darn Canadians are so hospitable.
The resolution on this one didn't bug me that much at all. Like when I was watching, I liked how they handled everything. It felt like the writing felt, I don't know, better than some of the other episodes that I did have critiques for, you know? So I definitely like how this one handled, resolved, and like the climax and stuff.
Like I said, I don't want to call it rushed because I don't think it's rushed. There was just like, there was a part of me that was like, gosh, people in real life are so much more stubborn than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, one like cherished flashback of your friend. You're like, all right, forget it. It's fine.
Any similarities between the Griffins and the Dwarves of Moria are coincidental.
I liked that they showed another. I mean, they had a couple of like different griffin designs, you know, some of the older male griffins and obviously the really old guy.
Yeah, that creepy guy was so good. I loved his character design.
But they showed off one other griffin of their age, which was cool.
Yep.
So I like to see that.
I like the owl guy too. The very first griffin they run into that Pinkie Pie boosts noses with, and he just grabs the other guy, where he just grabs her head and just like shoves her aside when they first get in the village. He looked like an owl.
That was rude.
He was an owl-faced griffin. So like that was pretty cool. So there's different like bird types of griffins and stuff, you know.
Very cool.
It was also an interesting dynamic with the griffins to introduce that whole kind of like greed aspect. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
there wasn't really any sign of that before with Gilda, so it was kind of a new concept.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was cool. I liked it. It was a good episode.
I do feel like
qualms with any of the season 5 episodes. Yeah. Speaking of season 4, Bernd, we're in season 5. Last week said season 4. We're in season 5.
Whoops. All right.
Oh, you dork.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyways,
I think my template's like that. I'll fix it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good episode. I do feel like it was a little bit rushed with the whole resolution thing. Even more so than last week's episode. But that's just my opinion on it. I don't know.
Your opinion sucks!
Other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think everyone else did too. So thank you guys for watching this Spoilercast again. And join us next week for another episode of Cutie Art Crusaders and another Spoilercast. Thanks again for watching. My name is Flutterguy317.
I'm Rainbow Plasma.
My name's Burn.
And I'm Atmospark.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
The right order! I'm so happy!
Peace.
Yay!